Hi Scorpio, welcome to your July 2023 Life Sector Tarot reading with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. There's no astrology in these, they are purely tarot. If you are a continued subby, you know Raphael loves that. And if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, for your actions and plans for the month of July, can you believe we're already into this second half of the month now, the year now? So you've got the Ten of Cups, beautiful, with the Queen of Swords, okay, and the King of Pentacles. So I like this because it suggests that you have finally reached a place of settlement when it comes to a partner, when it comes to the home. It looks like there have been some real powerful heart-to-heart elements or conversations around finances, around work, who does what. It's like you've had some really deep talks here about the way that things are going. So specifically for those of you that are partnered or married or in long-term commitments, by having these powerful heart-to-hearts or these conversations about where you want to be and where you actually are, I actually think it's made everything better. For those of you that are single, it looks like a lot of your plans are focused on the career, and it's like a lot of you have now decided, I'm going to dig my heels in and I'm going for it. Like whatever it is in your career that you envision to be that next level or the highest level that you want to achieve, this is where you really dig in and you go for it. And it's like you've got the support of your family and your friends or those closest to you to start making the changes and potentially some of the sacrifices that will need to be made in order for you to achieve this thing, right? So it's like you're doubling down on something here, which I think is great. For your career and communications, you've got the Magician card, beautiful, with the Moon card. Okay, so not the easiest of energies, with the Five of Cups. So the Magician card is a somewhat saving grace because it does suggest that you've got a lot of the power here, right? That Moon card with the Five of Cups, though, this is a past memory or an echo where you potentially, like, you've had to psych yourself up to go after something. And now these cards show up and it's almost like in order for you to really go for it or to find that level that you're looking for, you have to let go of the doubt and the fear. And you also have to let go of whatever hasn't succeeded in the past. That was then, this is now. That is over. You are where you are at this moment in time, and you absolutely have the power to change it, providing you don't give that power to the past, right? So for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, you're being encouraged here to dig really deep and not necessarily to ignore the past, but actually to learn from it and to sidestep any challenges that show up now in spite of that. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is where you find out a boss or a superior is not who they say they are, right? So this could be somebody who's out of their integrity. It may potentially be that this person goes on sick leave and then you find out that actually they've been suspended for some kind of misconduct. Some part of a boss or an authority figure is going to be revealed to you, and when it is, you might be like, oh well, damn, like you know this came across like this, but actually it's you know, it's something completely different. For those of you that are which potentially leaves an opening for you, right? For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, your Magician card and the Moon, it almost suggests that there's a part of you that is looking at a cycle. So it's like, yes, I'm going to do this again, right? It worked then, so it's going to work now. And the message here is it's not working the same and something needs to be adapted or adjusted or maybe even just phased out for good. Some way of working, something that you do with or through your business is not going to cut it anymore, and it's almost like you've got to change the system or you have to change some element of your work or your business. And because you've got the Magician card here, it does suggest it's something about your messaging or the way that you are presenting whatever it is that you present. So there's a few things here that need to be changed and adapted. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I mean, look, because of the past leaning of those last two cards, I wonder here if there is a reconnection to somebody from your past, but it's like maybe when you see them or reconnect with them, you'll realize like, wow, you know what, you are definitely not, it's not like, oh, you're not as great as I thought you were, but there is an element of like, wow, okay, you know what, I thought you were gonna A, B, and C, and actually now that I've seen you this many years later, you could see something and just be really, really surprised, right? You know, I hate to say it, but some people peak in high school. Some people peak in college or university, right? And then you see them 10 years later and it's like they haven't really moved much forward since. This could be quite hard on you, and the reason being is because it looks like you had some genuine feeling or awe in this person, and now when you see them it might kind of be like, oh, okay, wow. And it's not that your faith or belief or love or affection or whatever was misplaced, not in the slightest. Obviously at the time you were enamored with them for a reason, but seeing them on this side of things, you might be like, wow, okay, like, you know, it's crazy where life can take us sometimes. For your love and relations, you've got the Death card, okay, with the High Priestess and the Emperor. So two things here. The first one, go and see a medium this month. You'll get a lot out of it. You really will. Go and see a medium. You'll get a hell of a lot out of it. Now, that's one thing. Second, for a select few of you, I touch wood and I hope I'm wrong on this front, this looks like a couple, a set of parents, a set of grandparents, etc. And I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but this is a potential for, you know, a passing in a double sense. So an astrologer that I absolutely love has always said this to me. It's like when with your grandparents, if they've been married for a really long time, he says what usually happens is one goes, and then within like weeks of having sorted out the paperwork and all the rest of it, and, you know, made sure that their own will is okay, the other one will go as well. Like they tend to go really close, like within sort of, you know, weeks, sometimes months of each other. There is a potential for this to be that. That's it. Doesn't guarantee, it's not for everybody, but it is possible. Now, the Emperor represents the husband, the boss, or the most important sort of figure in the marital sort of situation. And for a select few of you, this may be a secret of some sort that comes up that you find is a deal breaker. Not for all of you. For some of you, like I said, you know, you and your partner going through the hard thing actually really works wonders. For some of you, this may be in response to this. Maybe your partner comes and tells you something and you're like, whoa, right? And you have some really hard, tough conversations around this whole subject, and actually it ends up bringing you closer. That's a possibility for a lot of you. It could be as well that something that you feel really needs to be addressed, you go down that route and you think, oh, okay, now that I've brought this up, this is going to be the end of us. But actually it isn't. You know, so that's another way that this could show up. For a select few of you, I am going to say yes, this could be a month where your relationship comes to an end. You'll know if I'm talking to you because your relationship will have been very hard for a long time and you're kind of at your wit's end with it. For those of you, and then for those of you that are single, quite frankly, this could literally be that you connect with somebody who is working as a psychic, somebody who's a medium. Maybe you could start dating somebody that has, you know, some kind of weird and wonderful gift. And I am going to say this to you, as a Scorpio, you guys can hack this. It's really not an issue to you. Most people can't. And I tell you what, I'm going to tell you this story. This happened to me, I think it's probably about 5 years ago now. It was just before I met my partner of the time and just after I'd finished with another. So, you know, you're in that gap sort of in between relationships. I met this guy online and we were talking and, you know, and he was like, oh, you know, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, you know, this is my day job, but actually my mainstay is this. And, you know, we were talking and the conversation was flowing and it was really nice. And he said, oh, well, you know, tell me what you see. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, tell me what you see when you look at me. So I sat and just went into this whole spiel about him and his past and, you know, what he'd been through and everything. And he just kind of like, he got really, really quiet on me. and then like literally basically disappeared. And before he disappeared on me, he said to me, I said, is everything all right? And he was like, yeah. He said, it's really weirded me out a bit. And that was it. I never heard from him again. So if you're the single person who has this gift and you're about to start dating someone and they say to you, tell me what you see, give them about a quarter of what you see. That's what most people can really handle. All right. If you are the person that's going to date somebody that has that weird and wonderful gift, it can be really, really hard when somebody that you want to date or somebody that you really care about asks you that question, because you want to honor your gift. It's always really important. The path of the seer. This is a very old custom here in seership in the UK, but the path of the seer is basically this. Every time you tell a lie when you're seeing or utilizing your skills or your cards or your mediumship or whatever it is, it diminishes your power to see. And so for that reason, you have to be honest, right? But if someone asks you that question and you get all of this stuff, sometimes it can be really hard because you're like, shit, well, I don't, know what to say. Like a lot of people I know in spiritual circles will just flat out refuse. And that's a, smart strategy, to be fair. I probably should have done that with that guy. Never mind. Lesson learned. But I hope this gives you some insight into how to navigate this kind of thing. If you're a cross watcher, if you are that person, you got to find a way to navigate it. For your money and materials, you've got the Hermit card, you've got the King of Swords, and you have the Eight of Swords. Now, it looks like a lot of you are about to make some kind of big financial commitment. This will probably be something that takes you on for at least the next 5 to 10 years. If you are going down this path, know that you will be held to it. So if this is a mortgage, if it's the purchasing of a car, if it's maybe you start home renovations, whatever it is, financially, this is likely to be something that you are in for some time to come. So you have to be absolutely sure. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, for a lot of you, I wonder if this is you seeing some kind of psychologist, some kind of psychiatrist, maybe going in for therapy, counselling, psychotherapy. But this wouldn't be from like the counselling aspect. It would be more about like an actual sort of archetypal maybe consideration of some sort. It's likely to be as well for a lot of you that this will be more about your mental health than anything else. And then for those of you that are, when it comes to your home and your environment, it looks like a lot of you may be spending time away from or out of home, or potentially for some of you is, if you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitment, maybe you and your partner are spending some time separated in some way, shape or form. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.